All right, this is part 4. Something happened on part 3, so we're going to continue from there. Channelers, the dangers of it. If you open yourself to spirits and they come into your body, you got separate energy coming into your body that's not the same as your energy. It'll affect you in many ways, changing your belief systems, changing the way you think, changing what you feel, changing how you feel about it. Mankind's pushing for this beautiful awareness that they expect to happen in the next couple of years, starting already, and many say they're in it. It's easy to say everything's beautiful. It's easy to say everything's great. But in reality, you have to go to work, you have to eat, you have to take care of your children if you have them. All the things that were the same right before you became spiritual, or a fifth-dimensional, sixth-dimensional being, is still the same. Sure, you can change your attitude on whatever you do. There was a book written by a monk who said everywhere he went, everything he did was in the name of God, when he was doing the dishes and things. Sure, you can live like that, but it doesn't help the world. If you don't want to help the world, what is the reason to be on this planet? To help yourself? So, yeah, you have to help yourself in many ways, but by doing that, you can start helping the world. If everybody was a victim, sitting there waiting for something to happen, the world would be destroyed real fast. Luckily, even most of the people that are so bad off strive to do something to survive. Like surviving is the most important thing for most people. Then the next thing is, how much can you build in your lifetime? How much money can you make? These channelers charge different prices. Some are not too expensive and some of them are very expensive. If you feel that you have to pay a lot of money to get a reading or a channeling, I would suggest you donate that money to something much more beneficial, and you'll be surprised. You'll probably get a lot more back from it, because when you give, you receive much more back in many ways. So instead of spending $200 for a channeling, donate to the health club or a food club, whatever is near you, what kind of children's club, anything that donate food or help people and stuff, clothe people. Stand Down, which is for the veterans, they donate to the veterans socks, a little bit of money, toothbrushes, toothpaste, and things like that. Do people even care? No. In this world, all these New Age people claim to be spiritual beings. Again, what does that mean to you? Not what it says in the dictionary, not what somebody else tells you it means, because there's very lame translation of it. Now we have Ashtar Command and Galactic Federation, and we have, I can go into multiple ones too, but where are we going with that? What do you think a race would come down here for you, and what are they going to do with you? Bring you to their world for what reason? Why do they need you? Why would they need you? Just you, out of 7 billion people. That's better than hitting the lottery. An alien race from some other dimension, other world, coming all the way here to pick you up. Again, what do you have to offer God? What do you have to offer Spirit? I heal people. Heal them of what? Their ego, their condition, their temporary condition. Everything you live through in this lifetime is only a temporary thing. And the max you'll have to deal with it is 125 years. No matter how much you love somebody, no matter how much you work with somebody, or how you take care of somebody, it's not going to go longer than that. And you're lucky if it goes to 60, 70 years. All right? I want to live to 100. That's your choice. Your whole body's falling apart. None of it's really there. Again, why? If you go into teachings, multiple teachings on this planet, starting with the Indian religions and stuff, you can deal with deities and the sex games they played and all that. But very few beings, entities, channelers, aliens, whatever words you use, talk about the word God. Wonder why. Why is that? Out of 7 billion people, you think lots of people would be starting to experience God. Yes, many say they do. And what do they come back with what they got from that? oh, God said I better get a different job, or I better get a car, I better get a new house. Not like, do your meditation, learn how to leave the body and leave the physical world. That would scare somebody away. Now there's channelings coming through saying we're dimensional beings. We don't need the body. Well, that's obvious if you become aware of what soul is, but then where are you going to go and who are you going to study with? And what's going to be your teaching? What are you going to learn? Just because you die, you're not given a gateway to heaven to do anything you want. And just because you die, you don't become super powerful, super all-knowing. I mean, be realistic. We reincarnate many times. And if you're not even aware of that, what makes you think when you die you're not just going to reincarnate? And you won't even know it. So is that where you want to be spiritually? Again, spirituality for most people is ego. It's thinking that they're all that. They have money, they have a house, they have a car. Has nothing to do with God, has nothing to do with the awareness of death. It has the awareness of life. Well, we're all living that, and we all manage to survive. And pretty long. Unless a tsunami wipes us out or a bomb hits our house, we do pretty good. We can lose teeth, eye, vision, parts of the body, but we still hang out and still survive. So, getting back to the point is channeling these things to make money, to give us what message? All right, Bashar, who channels for multiple crowds, I saw him personally, got to try to ask him questions and he wouldn't answer them. But when you go into what he teaches, or Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle, listen to their readings that they wrote. I mean, read them and try to study them, see what they're teaching you. Tell me where it fits into God. Deepak Chopra is talking about the God cell, God gene, and all those kind of things, and how science is trying to prove this, that, and that. Well, science will never prove God is real. Never. Not in the physical world, because it doesn't dwell here. They'll prove energy exists here, sure. The same as energy of spirits exists after a person dies. There's all these things that people are not trying to figure out. They'd rather sit back and let somebody tell them that everything's beautiful. The super spiritual being is going to come down and bring them something, or the sun's going to radiate this super energy field that's going to make us all spiritual. And we're all going to rise. Do you really feel that a mass murderer and an angel of God, I mean, working as a full vehicle for God in this planet, should have the same place in heaven, same place in life? It's like saying we all should get paid $5 for doing work every hour. Everybody on the planet should get paid $5. What would be the incentive to do or learn anything different? If you could just spit on the ground and make $5 being a bum and going to work being a farmer for 12 hours, you think people would work 12 hours to get the same pay that bum's getting for just sitting there? Be realistic. People don't want to relate to that. Channelers just say everything's beautiful, everything's great, everything's going to be okay. For who? For them if they get enough money? We'll go into some of the UFO people that are online with incredible sites set up and tell them about how it's going to be on spaceships and things like that. Really? Is that what you want to hear? Do you want me to tell you great stories? I can tell you multiple stories if you send me $1. I'm kidding. I wouldn't want $1 to tell you a bunch of lies. I wouldn't want $1 million to tell you a bunch of lies. And I couldn't do it. People can, people do, and people are. All the psychics out there, ask them what God is. What do you do when you get to heaven? That was the first questions I asked my minister when I turned 14 and was baptized. What do you do in heaven? What's God look like? They couldn't answer it. Nobody could. Because they're not that level of awareness. Just because somebody else appoints you a spiritual person doesn't make you that. In any religion or any path. They can tell you you're God's son or whatever. You are what you are, and you are what you can do and be. Meaning a human being with very limited powers. So until people realize that and accept that and learn to say, hey, how can we make the world better? I'm not God, but I want to be a vehicle for spirit to move through in this planet. Oh, we all say that, but what do we do to allow that to happen? Become a bartender? Become a hunter? I mean, we could do a lot of things. Does that make us anything closer to being spiritual? If you don't know what spiritual means, and the only way you'll ever truly understand that is the first time you step out of your physical body in soul. And suddenly you realize that this body is nothing to who and what you really are. And that's the starting of spiritual growth. That's where you start to learn what you are. Not here, not in a relationship, not having 10 kids, 20 kids, 2 houses, 10 cars. None of that's going to help you understand God. Oh, my son's going through this. Oh, my daughter's... Yeah, you're going to hear the same stories. And it's always the people that they associate that takes away whoever they are. Again, here's something else for people claiming to be channelers. They don't channel anything important. Why is that? If I'm writing a book and I'm trying to release it as soon as I can for free, based on suicide, the suicide of the planet, suicide of children, suicide of the world, what's going on? Because it's from the inside and the outside. Why it happens to children, why it happens to adults. What are we feeding the human consciousness? Play a game. Go out there and buy a Grand Theft Auto Race. Buy these new games coming out. They're violent. They don't teach you morals. They don't teach you anything about God or spirit. They teach you how to kill. If that's what you want to teach your children, which they're all learning, go to the movies and see how you can slaughter other people and slaughter them, chop them down, shoot them down. That's what we're teaching. And if that's not enough, we have to rely on perverted sexual jokes and agenda. All right. Every show had, I wouldn't even say the words, but just things that relate to perverted things that are on all the shows now. Why is that? Mankind doesn't want truth. So they'll go to a channel and get a reading that tells them everything's great. They're going to be super spiritual beings, or they are super spiritual beings. They just got to focus a little. Focus on what? If you don't understand God, you can't focus on it. Well, I believe it's something. If you believe it's Batman and focus on Batman, does that get you closer to God? You have to focus on what it truly is, and you have to experience that to understand that. So there's many things people have to do to become what they say they are. The channels out there are leading people in the very wrong direction. All right. We're going to leave it at that for now. This is part 4. We will be doing part 5 in a few. So tell them where you heard it. hawksblood1, AOL.com. Please stop by, email me. Doubt me, want to debate, anything. My life is dedicated to my truth, and the truth that I experienced, the truth that I could prove to myself, not some book or not somebody's ego. And this isn't my ego. I had 4 death experiences. I spent 25 years learning to leave my body, and started doing it, and working with deities, angels, and all those things. But they're not saying, hey, have 10 children, get a different job. They're not talking about planet Earth. We got aliens playing with us with that. All right. Thank you. Till next time. This was part 4.